Dear Venerable Sirs, Sister, Dhamma friends, this time we allocated for the day's talk. Today is a special retreat based upon this Kalalgoda Vipassana Meditation Center. We are going to conduct that in English, and today and tomorrow we are going to have the Dhamma talk in the same time. But time-wise, of course, we would have started at 5:30. I apologize for the delay, and we would like to take about 1 hour for the talk. So before starting the talk, may everyone settle down for the talk and give the consent with 3 times sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Seelavanta uso sariputta bhikkhuna khatame dhamma yoniso manasika tabbati. Dear Venerable brother, sister and brother, Dhamma friends, when we are taking time for a retreat like this, specifically residential retreat, such a retreat is very rare opportunity, specifically for the lay people, and therefore whenever we get such a chance, we must try our best to get the maximum benefits. The way that we must behave is being used, is being prescribed as one Pali term, anuggahita, that is being translated into English as facilitating. So each one of us collectively, as well as individually, we must facilitate the situation in order to get the maximum benefits. So even though we are coming from different families, different likings and dislikings, different personalities, the Buddha, considering the overall situation, he has prescribed each and everyone must take care about 5 points. Keep them in your mind. You must always try to facilitate, as I tried to mention earlier, collectively as well as individually. So before going into this, the topic that I have suggested, I would like to take or draw your attention to these 5 aspects. That is to indicate how to facilitate such a situation, such a retreat, so that we can reap the maximum benefits. The first and foremost thing is, the Buddha mentioned, Sila Anuggahita, you must facilitate it with your moral responsibility or precepts. Each one of us has to adhere to the regulations and rules pertaining to the retreats, and generally we prescribe 8 precepts as the norm. So each one of are being introduced or administer the 8 precepts. So we must know what are the meaning of these 8 precepts and what are the ways that I can contribute together with what are the benefits of it. I am not going to take time on that, but it's a point. Otherwise, we can't maintain the timetable, we can't maintain the silence, we can't maintain the cleanliness of the situation, as well as the cleanliness of the mind. So first and foremost thing is the moral restrainment, and we must facilitate collectively as well as individually. It is being called in Pali Sila Anuggahita, and it has been translated into English as facilitating with respect to our moral responsibilities. Once we adhere to that, we can go collectively to the rest. The next thing, we must facilitate our opportunity is by giving theoretical knowledge. We are all learned people in different skills and different subject matters kind of thing. But as far as this retreat is concerned, or moral restrainment, concentration restrainment and the wisdom restraint, we must have refreshment regarding the book knowledge. In other words, we can't do away with book knowledge. We must listen. We must refresh it. So therefore, what is the tradition is listening to the Buddha or the discourses of the Buddha. And lucky enough, we represent the Theravada tradition and whole world accept. We have the authentic teaching of the Buddha or with the least damage. So therefore, as far as we are referring to the canon, we are sure we learn something correct. The general thing is, everyone accept the canonical teachings are basically from the Buddha. But the particular sutta that I have selected is not from the Buddha, but from Venerable Mahasariputta. That's the general of the Buddha regarding these Dhamma matters. So therefore, Venerable Sariputta himself is fairly contributed to the canon, and this particular sutta also, the main character in this sutta is Venerable Sariputta. And when we are listening, we have to understand he is just representing what the Buddha mentioned, and he has his authority to represent the Buddha, as Buddha has already given the authority to him. He is the Dhammasenadipati or general on that aspect. So we have selected this Seelavanta Sutta, and when you are reading the text, you may find it is not related to, not attributed to the Buddha, but to Venerable Sariputta. So we'll go into detail later. And the third aspect is the discussion. We must have interviews, we must have discussions, we must have dialogue. Otherwise, very difficult for us to move collectively. So we are having some question and answer sessions. We must have discussions, and we must thank Venerable Chandaratana took time to answer the questions and leading to the discussion. That's also quite an important thing, because only in the Buddhist circles we can expect dialogue or a discussion. In the other denominations, they have a holy script. No one can question. If you question them, you will be destined to the purgatory or to the very bad consequences. You have no rights. But the Buddha, being omniscient, he mentioned, don't accept without questioning. You have to question. So therefore, he is the first person in the human history giving the complete map, complete journey, and give the complete authority, charter for this free thinking. Not a single or the religious masters can do it, because they are representing something unknown, something beyond this world, omnipotent, omnipotent God, or some cults. But here, the charter for this free thinking is already endowed with this dialogue, questioning, and therefore throughout the history of our dispensation, this had been a live wire. This particular sutta itself is based on a discussion, a dialogue. We'll come into that in detail later. And once that you are fulfilled with your precepts or moral responsibilities, once that you have fairly access to the theoretical understanding and freedom to ask questions, have interviews, then only mind become prepared and the mindset is ready to go on practice concentration meditation and the wisdom training. The concentration restrainment as the fourth facility, the way you facilitate, and the fifth one is you do wisdom training or Vipassana training. That is how we have to fulfill our duties, individually and collectively, towards the retreat. So I hope by now each and everyone already taken precepts, each and everyone is briefed regarding the timetable and the other kinds of thing pertaining to the retreat, and question and answer session also completed. So this hour we are going to take in order to facilitate our theoretical understanding or book knowledge, theory, that is called Sutta Anuggahite. For that we selected this particular Seelavanta Sutta, and it is been presented in the Samyutta Nikaya, the concise teaching, and very interesting enough, two great characters, Venerable Kottita and Venerable Mahasariputta, they are very renowned two monks, asking basic question that indicates they are making this dialogue out of compassion for people like us yet to come or in time to come. So we have to understand what is the way the question must be, what is the way the answer must be. So many beginners have a lot of hesitations or second thoughts. Am I qualified? Am I good enough for this practice, for this dispensation? So many people, or majority of people, are with the inferiority complex. They make everything very seriously. Any small mistakes they have done, any lack of knowledge regarding the canonical understanding, any personality situation to ask a question and go ahead and ask a question or give a statement, everyone hesitates. I can remember when I started how unqualified I was, because I was not ready to accept precepts. In my robust young age, if someone would have mentioned, without precepts you can't go to meditation, I would have easily escaped it and I would have gone. But the way it is being presented, it says whatever the state you are here is good enough to start. That's the starting balance. And then when the meditation is going, or when the mindfulness is developing, that will take care about your precepts. And if it is not so, you are on the wrong track. It's such a simple thing. And if you do not have even the theoretical understanding, whenever the theory come along your way, if you know what is to pick and what is to drop off, that indicates your selectivity, your adverting power, and that indicates you are progressing. Otherwise you may be just listening to the worldly thing, the external thing, and so much so it will be a burden. You will never go inside towards within, under your very nose. The theory must always, therefore, at least at the beginning, must promote inward journey. That's why it's called insight meditation. But even then after Venerable Mahakottita and Venerable Sariputta is asking these kind of questions, today in society at large, or Buddhist society at large, of course, theory knowledge is fairly improving. But hardly they are leading to insight meditation or under your very nose experience or your personal experience. So therefore, even you have theory, very little it is well directed. So with that idea only, Mahakottita is asking Venerable Sariputta, Seelavanta Mahasariputta, Seelavanta Sariputta, Bhikkhuna Katame Dhamma Yoniso Manasikattabba. He is asking, Venerable Sariputta, dear Dhamma friend, whenever someone is accomplished his moral responsibilities, what are the things he must contemplate? And what is the next step? So, usually, in the normal theory understanding, we have three disciplines: Sila Sikha, Samadhi Sikha, Panya Sikha. That means restrainment regarding the morality, restrainment regarding the concentration, and restrainment regarding the wisdom, vipassana. So, our Sunday schools and our Dhamma theoretical books, it says, first once you complete the moral restrainment or moral responsibility, then you must go for the concentration restrainment and then wisdom. But here it contradictory enough or radical enough. Venerable Sariputta directly says, without mentioning even the concentration as a medium, he directly prescribes, with your present understanding of the morality, you can directly go into vipassana. So therefore, these kind of suttas or discourses are very, very popular among the inside circles. So, first I read it through Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw. He took it because he just wanted to introduce meditation to the laity with the multitasking, where they don't have much time for concentration meditation. And if someone says, after this morality, you must have so much concentration, and then only you can go to vipassana or wisdom, many will get discouraged. So Mahasi Sayadaw is the first person in this contemporary age. Of course, he has already passed away. He was given a serious thought about that. And then he found some, maybe less than 5% of the discourses in the total canon. There are some places where the Buddha, as well as the renowned, recognized disciples, are directly prescribing vipassana. So this Seelavanta Sutta also, such a one, and under such circumstances, Venerable Sariputta says, as an answer to the Venerable Kottita, Seelavata also Kottita, Bhikkhuna Panchupadana Khanda, Aniccato, Dukkhato, Rogato, Gandato, Yonaso Manasikata. He says, once you gain a satisfactory amount of morality or moral restrainment, directly you can contemplate, directly you can apply your mind to your 5 aggregates, how impermanent they are, and how leading into the suffering, how much it is a disease, how much is a boil like, gandato, sallato is like a dart, it's a thorn. Likewise, he says 11 facets to look into these 5 aggregates. So, present day also, whenever someone is talking about the materiality, the 11 facets came into being through this quantum physics. I don't see much of a parallelism with this 11 dimension of the matter together with these 11 facets Venerable Sariputta is going to show. But there may be hidden relationships also, but anyway, don't get mixed up with this number 11, but Venerable Sariputta is prescribing, when and where you become morally responsible, get the precepts and get that discipline, you can directly apply your mindfulness, adverting of your mind to your materiality as one of the 5 aggregates, and see how much it is impermanent. So, the very first day we had the one-day retreat in the Jnanarama center, we have taken it and we try to deal it. But anyway, I thought of repeating the same, how to look into the matter in terms of impermanent nature. So before going to that one simple sentence, without slip you have to go there. A person means, and a being means 5 aggregates. That's a kind of a theoretical presentation. The materiality, Rupa, it's being called Kaya. Kaya means agglomeration. Kaya means Kanda. Kanda means a mountain. It's agglomeration. So agglomeration of matter is called Rupa Kanda. or Rupa Kaya. And then Vedana Khanda, feelings as an aggregate, and perception as an aggregate, and the volitional involvement as an aggregate, and then the Vijnana, the consciousness as aggregate. The first one, the materiality, take a separate department called Rupa, balance 4, known as Nama. So Nama Rupa discrimination is here. Nama given 4 facets and Rupa represent the act itself. This is one way. That's a way where people have, or meditator has certain amount of understanding regarding the matter and give more detailed approach to the name or immaterial part. That's another separation also. But here 5 aggregates means, Rupa means one department, Nama, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, the feeling, the perception and the volitional involvement and the consciousness take Nama, and Rupa is separate. So, the way the Buddha present, and the same Venerable Sariputta is representing, it is easier for a beginner to have understanding regarding the matter, because it is verifiable, 3-dimensional. It has a specific gravity, it has a place, it has a time. Whenever the thing become collapsed into time and matter, we call time and space, we call matter. So, your beginner's mind, those who are not much refined with mindfulness, not with much skillful in mindfulness, they can see the matter and see each and every matter has its own specific characteristics. So, you have to understand there are enormous amount of matters in the world, and how to understand them is the subject of physics. And physics went into 200 years and completely, utterly lost, because it is no finiting, it is infinite, you can't end up. But the way the Buddha is teaching, with the way the Venerable Sariputta is, it is subjective matter which is inflicting you, you can experience under your very nose, is being considered as internal matter, and with respect to that, external matter is there. So for the insight meditation or meditation, we take whatever we call internal matter, ajjata rupa dhatu. So when and where you try to focus your attention to this internal or experienceable or what become object, you are doing away with so much amount of materiality, and you know where to focus. You are focusing to your own body. You take your body as your object of meditation. So that justification is not an coincidence. It has number of other implications. Whatever the matter you confine as yourself is a holographic representation of the total matter outside. So therefore, whatever you study and prove, whatever you verify, is at large, you can later deduce through your deductive knowledge and the rational knowledge, this matter and external matter is the same. And due to your limited amount of mindfulness, you can't do with the whole matter outside. So therefore you reduce to your internal part so that you have a starting point. That is called the benchmark. That is called the reference point. That is called the object of meditation. So therefore that rationalization is very, very practical. After long experimenting only, Buddha prescribed your human body, you take it as a matter. And that represents the total matter outside. And therefore for the moment, select internal matter in order to get rid of outside matter. Later, through your direct touch, through your direct experience of the internal matter, through deductive way, through in the inferential way, you can see iti ajjattanga kaye kayanupassī virati, bahiddhava kaye kayanupassī virati, ajjatta bahiddhava kaye kayanupassī virati. That is the way that Satipatthana is teaching. First you understand your internal body, matter, and then if this is so, this matter, exactly the same external matter. And then you compare internal and external thing, they are the relativity come into being, or reciprocal nature come into being. And you make it a sizable by taking your body. So this part is not religious, it is scientific. It's called reductionism. In order to understand the total world of materiality, you select what you can experience, what you can verify, and sizable, and then go deep as much as possible. More and more you go into depth, you can see that matter and the external matter exactly the same. But take it for granted at the beginning out of your faith. Just take what is available as your body and understand they are relative to each other. So therefore you taken into grant and pay attention to the matter internal, and then more and more you go deep and deep. Slowly the deductive knowledge is going to compare external matter and internal matter. Is it your aspect or is it the endowment of vipassana? Is a separate issue. Should you consider it, or as a meditative progress will it happen? So open issue, it is something electric, it is something coincident, it is something impromptu. More and more you go deep and deep into matter which you can experience, naturally the understanding of the external thing happen through the relativity. And it is called therefore deductive knowledge. And learned people, wise people, use it as byproduct of your meditation. And when and where it happens, they never obsess with this theoretical understanding or deductive knowledge, keep on going with the direct touch, with the direct experience, and let that deductive knowledge to happen. Let that inferential knowledge to happen. So, more you go advance, you must be very, very tactful which one is direct touch and which one is inferential. Now I am going to not going to take that part, but that is a kind of internal repercussion can happen if you do not have that understanding on outset in the meditation. So therefore take your body, take whatever maybe you can experience is just a benchmark. It's just a reference point. It's a pivotal point. It's a representative. And how you relate it to that, when you have to do, so open issue. That we can't discuss collectively, so we have to have interviews. Through interview only you can say, okay, with respect to this understanding, you can have this kind of deductive knowledge. Don't promote it, but this much is authentic deductive knowledge, this much is the mind-made one, or hallucination, or kind of a concept. That's a very subtle issue. We will go in slowly, time to come. And when and where you select your body as matter and challenging and asking to see it impermanent, it's not a social way of teaching. Everyone wants to see my body is the pivotal point, that's the most important thing and most permanent thing, and we try to fix it, Nitya, Sukha, Subha, Atma. It's a permanent, it's auspicious, and it is always pleasurable, and that is my soul. So under such circumstances, just asking to see it is impermanent, it's like a time bomb. It's like the radical way of presenting. But these two monks, Venerable Kotthita and Venerable Sariputta, both of them are Buddhist monks. They have their own dedication and ordination and everything. So therefore, if you are going to teach this kind of thing to the person coming from the street, you have to understand you are asking for trouble. But the man from the street is always thinking, my body is permanent, it is auspicious, it is always pleasurable, it is my soul. They are ready to understand it as a pivotal one. It's the benchmark. But take that benchmark to measure the world permanent, measure the world auspicious, measure the world pleasurable, measure the world egotistic or soul. But here it says, look into your matter with the perspective of impermanence. So therefore, there should have a basic outset, mindset for someone to understand it. And till you verify it, till you go in and see under your nose, there's a huge area, uncertainty is there, entertaining doubts are there. That is why your faith is very important. That faith is not a blind faith. Before you are dead, you can verify it. It is verifiable faith. So there also you can see the difference, each and every religion on the world, on the earth, based on the faith. But that faith never can verify. The Buddha says, in this very life, start with this faith. That is also unfounded faith. It's just a faith for the sake of faith. But within the life, Buddha says maximum 7 years, minimum 7 days. Within that, if you are skillful, you can verify it. So, till you verify, there is a kind of a muddy area, it's a slurry, very difficult. So that is why the discussion is necessary. That's why repetitive listening is necessary. That's why repetitive application is necessary till you understand it. So how long that will take? From the basic instructions to you to see the very thing you thought permanent is not permanent but impermanent, how much will it take? Very difficult. It depends on how much foolhardy you are. If you are very hard and if you are very adamant, very difficult. But if you are ready, open-minded, then Buddha says 7 days. Sometimes it says morning if you instruct, even you can understand. But if you are, mind is if it is not geared, if it is not directed in this way, that your ignorance as well as your craving is the other two blocking things. So keep that in mind. Your understanding or your verification is not depending on external thing, depending on your desire and depending on your egotistic, or just say we can say a wrong view. So therefore, while practicing, are you ready to have a broader view, samadhi, as well as just leave the rest of the world and bring attention to the body? That is quite a challenge. For example, when you come to the meditation center and you come to the meditation hall and when you sit on the cushion, can you keep your attention limit to your own body? Or will it think about the past, what happened yesterday, or other places, or other people, or other places? That means even on experimental ground, your mind is not ready to confine to your body. So if it is so, very difficult to plunge into, very difficult to deep go into. So therefore, how much you have to recognize this pivotal point, how much you to make out this benchmark, how much to isolate, delimit Your object of meditation is a challenge. It indicates how much you have grabbed the external world, even on split second, even for an experimental ground. You can't forget about the past, you can't forget about the future, you can't forget about the other people, you can't forget about the other places. So much so mind become monkey mind. It's a mad monkey mind. So that individually, if you are going to say it is only my problem, that's the way you become egotistic. It is our problem. Even it's a problem to the Buddha. It's a problem to Venerable Sariputta. It's a problem to Venerable Mahakottita. So therefore, taking your own body itself as a pivotal point, even theoretically you appoint it, how difficult to keep the mind, here now I am sitting. And that will be a complete radical thing, someone to take it as an experiment. To give an example, a person may be living on the earth maybe 100 years, but there may not be a single thought moment he or she is here and now. Whole life is living on the past and the future, or think about other people, or think about other places. So it's a whiling away the life. They never live, they dream. They are living on a dream. And they expect others to come and help in the dream world. And someone say, hit a shock, give a slap and say, he come and here now? Never. It's such a revolutionary thing. When Jnanaponika is mentioning, a Buddha has to come and tell you to start your experiment, noble quest. You have to come here and now. Even if you accept the Buddha out of faith, you find it's difficult. It's difficult because of the desire. Even on experimental ground, we can't forget about the past, we can't forget about the future, we can't forget about the other people, and we can't forget about the other places. When and where you forgiven and given, then only you can be here and now. So therefore, Venerable Jnanaponika is telling, try to indicate, if you are generous to give out the rest of the world, and if you are a person with generous nature to give up the world, if you have developed that with donations and giving up and kind of thing, that will give a kind of a hint. Leave aside the rest of the world, experimental level, and take the body as the pivot. Not that you can't go there. If it is so, we are disqualified to meditate. But you can go. You can see how quickly that monkey mind is jumping from that to the other, past, future, other people, other places. So selecting your body is rejecting the world. So it's very difficult. Selecting your body with the instruction of Venerable Sariputta or the Buddha, even you may agree, but how much condition our mind with the desire, how much condition our mind due to the wrong view, we think it is our responsibility, we think it is our multitasking, everything that think about the past, think about the future, think about the other people and think about the other places. So therefore, you are so eccentric, you can live 100 years, even not a single thought moment in the present moment. So when and where you wish to take the present moment, what is your pivotal point? Then the Buddha says, your own body, or your own physical body, materiality, concrete body. And when you are keeping the body, leaving the rest of the world out, you have to consider body as a peg, it has a benchmark, it has a reference point. So you take it as a permanent. They are the beginner, take the body as a permanent thing. when you are making the survey, your benchmark is a permanent thing must be. It cannot be a slurry, it must be a rock, or it must be a foundation or something like that. From that only you get the orientation, that's called a benchmark. So therefore, at the beginning of this meditation, you take your body as permanent and try to fix it, what is the shape and what the manner. So when you close and sit and see, how do you know you are sitting? How do you know you are mindful? How do you know you are here and now? No one can give a standard answer. Only we can give through negative terms. We can say, I am not in the past, I am not in the future, I am not with other people, not with other places. That means I am here and now. No, there is no positive answers. I try to assimilate a compensation for that, so that I would like to mention, when and where you come and sit, close your eyes, when the mind is calm and collected upon your body, instead of rejecting past, future, other people and other places, you can see, if you can see, I am not dead, I am living, that experience is a positive sign, you are mindful here. If you can understand and experience, I am not sleeping, that's a kind of a hint. And third aspect is, if you can understand I am not unconscious, I am conscious. These three, I am not dead, I am not sleeping, I am not conscious, is a kind of a hint to indicate I am with my body, I am with here, I am now. So this is the pivotal point. From there only you can go, but even then you are with the notion, this thought moment, this body is permanent. So this take the impermanent notion, take it as a null hypothesis, and you try to prove it is permanent. More and more you try, each and every time you get failure. Each time you fail, your null hypothesis will be the winner. This is the way the meditation is happening. So therefore, at the beginning, pinpointing and taking this pivotal point, you take the body as the reference point and no harm. Take it as permanent, take it as pleasurable, take it as auspicious, take it as myself, and try to see when and where you pay attention, the body, what is the indication? How do you know that you are sitting? And you can see the pressure, how it pointing pressure into on the earth or your cushion. And you can see that very indicator is changing now. At times the left leg, at times the right leg. At sometimes you feel with the in-breath or out-breath, or rising and falling. So you see, each and every time you try to refine your being, you are here, you are undead, you are not dead, you are not unconscious, the particular sign that you are trying to attribute is fast changing. So you consider it as a failure in your meditation, a weakness in your mindfulness, or something wrong with your health, or something wrong with your mind. No, that is what the Venerable Sariputta wanted to know. Whatever the symptom you are going to attribute to indicate you are living, to indicate you are not dead, to indicate you are not sleeping, living, to indicate you are conscious, that very attribution is fast changing. So more you observe it, the changing nature do not indicate you are unmindful. Slowly you understand, through mindful you understand impermanent notion, even though you accept this as permanent, auspicious, pleasurable and soul-like, but more and more you observe, you are proving yourself, but it is a well-accepted fact in the Theravada tradition, till you prove to another person, till you share with the other person, your understanding is not valid. It is just a suggestion only, not seconded. So in the interviews, you try to tell when and where I see sitting posture, what are the things that you prove, and when and where you are to see I am living because I am breathing, I am living because I am rising and falling. And what do you mean by rising? What do you mean by falling? Or you may say, it's an in-breath and out-breath. See the attribution. See the character. See the manner. They are fast changing. So therefore, whenever if you go to see breath must be equal and without changing, then your appointment will be a disappointment. And if you are going to say rising and falling must be ever equal, never changing, then you will not come to the interviews. You will not give the interview report because you are a failure. But the indication is it is changing. Just report what you see. More and more you observe, you will see your thesis is disproved, null hypothesis becoming more and more prominent. More and more people practice, they understand the Buddha or Venerable Sariputta give something permanent thing like a pivotal point or reference point. And whenever you try to prove it, whenever you try to verify it, when you try to refine it, you see the indicator, very symptoms is fast changing. So I have never seen through my whole life someone is bold enough to say, when I observe the breath, these are the changes happen. They try to see common unchanging character. So much is a failure. So much your meditation report is a fabrication. It's a hallucination. This is what you wish to see. But whatever you see is then and they are disproving your permanent notion. So therefore it says, something like in the Girimananda Sutta and Dasasanya Sutta, before you go into the meditation you must have impermanent notion. Even you appoint the breath as your primary object or the body, more you practice, more it is evolving. More it is metamorphosizing. More is changing. So changing is not a challenge to you. It indicates you are sharp observer. Your mindfulness is progressive. So therefore, when and where you try to focus into the materiality and attribution, two attributions are there, the shape and the manner. See how quickly in-breath, long in-breath becomes short in-breath. Short, long out-breath becomes short out-breath. This is the Buddha mentioned directly in the Satipatthana Sutta. So likewise, the shape is changing, manner is changing. Don't hesitate to report it. Don't consider it as a failure. Don't think your mindfulness is shaky. No, your observation is direct. So more and more you try to practice it. At the beginning you consider the body as permanent thing, but ultimately more you go to the analytical power into the tiny particle, they are very fast moving. Even if you see the in-breath and out-breath, and to see within the in-breath so much of activity, each and every activity is changing so much facets, so much changes. So ultimately, whenever the impermanent notion going to take the upper hand, your whole body will be wavering. You will be like a volcanic. You will be like a cyclone. Everything is changing. It is becoming vomitish. It becomes nauseatic, nausea. And so people leave the meditation center. People change the teacher. People change the object of meditation. They think something wrong. So how much faith you must have, how much true-to-type writing presentation you must have to indicate your mind or to eradicate your mind from this permanent notion. Very difficult, so therefore it must not be, you must not be wait till you get a certain amount of concentration. If you have morality and if you ready to accept Venerable Sariputta's instructions, you can take your body, materiality as your object of meditation and look into that. more and more mindfulness becomes sharp, when more and more your noting mind and the noted object become closer, the impermanent notion is so much, it's become nausea. It becomes vomitish. You feel like bored. You feel like cornered. You feel like outcasted. Ultimately you think something wrong in the meditation because your mind is not ready to accept this impermanent notion. That is why you have the fear over the death. That's why you have the fear for your old age. That's why you have the fear for your sickness. That's why you fear about the separation from your dear and near ones. But once the impermanent notion is being established, and when the mindset is ready to accept, you think it is not a self-inflicting to the death. Death is part and parcel of the life. Old age is part and parcel of the life. And the sickness is part and parcel of the life. It is not to inflict you. Even the kings, even the Deva, the God, even the Brahmas, they are the same, these diseases. So therefore your mind becomes broader because you are ready to accept impermanent notion. But it must not be limited to the materiality. It must be further into the feelings, perception, and when the particular discourse is developing, we will slowly go into that, and not only as an impermanent. The Venerable Sariputta give 11 facets. So I hope today as the starting talk, enough for the day. And tomorrow we will continue from the same, based upon the foundation that we have laid already, and to continue further, and then the cumulative effect, hopefully, will going to give something, sound change in your correct view, your likings and disliking, and let it happen very slow manner, otherwise we are asking for trouble. So therefore we have to be gradual process, slowly. So keep your theoretical understanding, keep your moral integrity, keep your discussions and the interviews, and meanwhile practice again and again sitting and walking, or concentration and the wisdom, and look into the same object again and again, only with, if possible, it's an impermanent notion rather than expecting hard and fast, permanent thing. And then you find it's easy to meditate when and where your outlook become impermanent notion, meditation is a hobby. When and where you try to do with the permanent notion, regimentation, frustration, tension. Hope this talk help you to take the meditation as a hobby. With that remark, I would like to sum up today's talk. Thank you very much for listening. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.